What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. I hope everyone's having a good day today. Today we're going to be going over some live charting of whatever you guys want. I thought it would just be cool to show kind of a breakdown on what I do and how I produce the charts that I make. So if anybody has any sort of recommendations on what they would like to see get charted, feel free to send that into the chat. I'll definitely take a look at anything you guys send. Let's take a quick look at SPY real quick first while you guys think of some stuff to chart. So let's clean up. What I run on my charts right now is down here I have the MACD, I have the RSI as well, and then the volume indicator. What you saw me just turn off was going to be my EMAs. So red line being the 20 EMA, orange line being the 50 EMA, the 100, and the 200. But let's take a look at SPY. So SPY is looking pretty interesting. We saw that sell off all the way down to 372-ish, and we bounced pretty hard off of that level and are now chilling at about 390, 389 level, which I thought today was pretty good. We had a strong push the other day, so the fact that we kind of just consolidated throughout the day, I really liked. I didn't really want us to make any major moves, especially because we were waiting on the stimulus news, and if we were up too much when the stimulus news came out, I feared that we were possibly going to drop a lot harder than what we actually did. We kind of pumped a little bit. Let's see. Oracle, yeah, I'll definitely take a look at Oracle. Let me write that down real quick. Awesome. So let's try to get a outlook on SPY real quick so we can kind of see how the remainder of this week may turn out. So referencing back to the other videos I've posted, let's draw out some horizontal support and resistance lines real quick to keep it super basic. Nothing too crazy. Draw out a couple resistance lines just to get an idea. Can even blow things up just a little bit, make everything a little bit bigger. Let's see. So we rejected the higher move past 390 today. So let's get that drawn out right there. And there we go. So we got a couple resistance lines drawn out. Now let's go take a look for some support lines, which we're seeing a support right here. I'll draw that out to line up with these over here. Change that over to green. It's kind of hard. Let's see. Let's switch to the 1 hour. There we go. So we made some intraday supports, which was good. When I chart SPY, I really like to use my fib levels on SPY. Just gives me a better idea of where we're kind of hanging out. Let's see, the low of that candle is okay. About in like the general area, maybe off by a couple of cents. So SPY's at an interesting spot right now. 0.786. We did bounce pretty hard off of we did have somewhat of a support right here from all the way over here. Could draw this out, which I was kind of surprised that we bounced right here. This wasn't a very strong support. We did wick down to the zero retracement level and bounced right there. So have you used swing indicator? I have not. Is the swing indicator like the pivot indicator? Is that what you're talking about? All right, let's see. So what we could recently we've been forming these inverse head and shoulder patterns like almost on everything. That's probably the most common pattern I've seen recently. Um, so I mean, we could denote this as a left shoulder, this as a head. I I'm kind of hesitant on saying that this would be a left shoulder, but I mean it falls under the criteria of where it pulled back in sort of the same region as this left shoulder. So I guess you could, with stimulus news coming out. Well, we already have it passed by the House. We passed by the Senate. Now we're just waiting on Biden to sign it. That is pretty bullish for the overall market. Draw support and resistances for you. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I've seen. I don't think there's a way for me to go to my history. I did check out one of them though. I found one that was actually pretty accurate, but I still like drawing out my own levels. But yeah, if it was it had almost the exact same levels that I would have drawn out, so it was pretty good. It just I needed to use it on the higher time frame. I found on the lower time frame it wasn't very good. But back to we really we're gonna be in such a choppy zone until SPY can get over 380 392. Everything's just gonna be up and down, up and down, up and down. This little channel that's right here was when we first initially saw all of the chop and SPY. So really this is kind of a key area to get over, as well as we have two pretty decently sized resistance points right here. You know, we've rejected these levels a couple of times already. So going up and testing them multiple times is, you know, we're bound to break it eventually, but we're also have a higher chance of, you know, rejecting it, retracing, and then dropping back a little bit further before we try to break it again. My prediction for the end of the week for SPY is probably in this 394 region. That would be my bullish prediction for SPY. We'll go right over to this one fib retracement level. If we do decide to get bearish by the end of the week, so if we do have a sell the news event, I have a feeling that we would probably come down to about 383 and kind of just hang out in that level. So my bullish prediction is going to be 394. My bearish prediction is going to be 383. We did have we did have sort of a rising wedge on SPY that looks like it might be playing out sort of into close. We're right at the very bottom of that channel, but the pullback from that on the 1 hour isn't going to be very significant considering on the 4 hour, you know, we're not, I mean, kind of, but it still has more room to push on the 4 hour before I would even consider calling this a rising wedge. Um, so yeah, we could bounce back down. What we could see happen is we could open around this 387 level, base off around there, and then come back up, retest, and push through to get to that other level. So those are my predictions. I am bullish for the end of the week. Let's see. Okay, Oracle. Let's see what Oracle's up to. So Oracle, we drew this out. We drew this out at the beginning of the week. MACD did cross down, but Oracle has made itself a decent support level right here. So it still does have that gap sitting under itself, which I'm not a big fan of. Volume is decreasing, but the fact that it's holding this level that it's at right now. So we do have a little bit of a support right here. And it is holding this level. It has like a micro, like a minor support right here as well. I still think that this is decently bullish. I mean, it's just cooling off right now from the big move that it made, but the fact that it's sitting like $1 down from where it from the major breakout that it had, and it's sort of just consolidating right here in this phase, it's pretty bullish for it. So yeah, let's take a look. Switch through all the time frames. It did have a bearish engulfing candle today, Volume's still there though. MACD's still pointing up on the 1 day. We still are a little bit overbought on the 1 day time frame, so we could see it come down just we could see it retrace down just a little bit further before it gets another push. But it all just depends on market sentiment because we did sell at the end of the day, the last 2 hours of the day for SPY, so it could have been because that happened. But yeah, it still looks strong. I wouldn't count it out. Draftkings. So Draftkings has been a beast recently. Let's just Yeah, DraftKings has been on a tear. Um, oh, so MACD's about to cross on the daily again. We still aren't in the overbought region, which is good. MACD's crossed on the 4 hour still, so we're still pointing up on the 4 hour. Let's see, let's take a look. We have good volume as well, very good volume. And we're still pointing up on the 1 hour. Yeah, DraftKings looks really good. I'm sort of seeing this cup pattern forming right here, or this could just be a V shape, some sort of V shape recovery. I don't want to count out if it is a cup or isn't a cup. We could technically move this down right here and then, because I think right here is an opening candle if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so this is going to be an opening candle right here. So it did push up on that opening candle if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was a pre-market / opening candle. So that would probably be the reason that it sold right there. So I would give this sort of this cup pattern. Let's take a look. Let's draw out our cup. Let's make it, we'll go yellow. Down like this. And you can even see it kind of follows this trend line it has right here. So typically with cups, you'll get the cup. The cup pattern is where it will have a resistance, sell off, it will come base itself and then push back up into that resistance and reject again. Then you'll typically see a retracement, and then it will start picking momentum back up and going to push into that resistance again, and then eventually it will break over that resistance and have a pretty strong bull run. So something to keep in mind. Yep, I got Fubo. No, I just use so for the MACD, honestly, I don't even know what the Williams alligator is. I typically just use the MACD to I just use these lines to indicate. I use it more of as a momentum type of thing. I wouldn't really base trade solely off of the MACD though. It's kind of just something to help give me confidence and something, oh, the MACD is about to cross, so it has, and I'll reference that to the RSI and be okay, so it has some room. Yep, I got Apple for you as well after this. But yeah, so we'll typically see the handle come and form. To help give us a better idea of where that handle could possibly be at, I'll draw out a fib line real quick. So let's see. We did have really good volume today. Yeah, I wouldn't count it out that we could drop down right here to about 68.29. We do have some support built up right here, right on it. I like this better. I like this better, this right here. So, yeah, about 67, 68. We have a decent support built right here. So, and MACD's pointing down on the 15-minute. We're still crossed up on the 1 hour, but we're rounding. So if that crosses down, we could see a bit of a deeper retracement to maybe the 64 level. But it is March Madness, which is something I wanted to mention as well. So betting stocks are going to be pretty hot this month. And news throws out TA. So I'm definitely, this thing has room. I think the earlier count before I deleted my chart was for Draftkings. I think I had an account. Yeah, I had an account to like, I think it was $74. Yeah, somewhere around there. So I still am bullish on DraftKings. It just needs to sort of base off. I think we're going to be forming a cup and handle. So, and it could, who knows, if we have a really good green market, it could just jump right over this resistance pre-market as well. It does have really good volume, and I know a lot of people are watching gambling stocks because of March Madness. So, Manny, we're on the 1 hour time frame right now. So, I mean, there's not really a specific amount of candles that have to close or touch within the cup and handle, if that's what you're asking. It's not it the cup pattern itself isn't really a trend line. I mean, I could make it into a trend line where, it sort of comes down like this, but it's just you can sort of just make it however you want. I don't it doesn't really have to follow any sort of trend, or it doesn't have to, touch the wall of the cup a specific amount of times. I know. I bet if we went on to like a lower time frame, like the 5 minute or something like that, we could make it to where it would follow some trend. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we just because we are on the higher time frame though, the amount of candle bodies themselves, are a little bit bigger because you got to keep in mind, for every 1 hour candle, there's about oh God, that's math. There's about four. No, I'm definitely doing that wrong. Six 15-minute candles inside of it. Oh, four. Yeah. Oops. Uh, Fubo. Let's take a look at Fubo, and then we will go look at Apple. So Fubo, I love Fubo. I think Fubo is such a good stock. They have the sports coming out. Every other stock in its sector that's kind of related to it is just absurd. Insane value. Um, Granted, it does take a while to sort of build up that momentum and to get that value. Um, we did break out of the sort of pennant slash triangle pattern that we were in. Um, yep, I'll take a look at BA as well. Let me write it down real quick. Yeah, no, Fubo, I really liked Fubo. I think it fell under my sort of invalidation level, so the confidence I have in these PTs that we set, I'm not, eventually it might get there, but it really just needs to it really just needs to base off, and it looks like it has, but it still hasn't broken this downtrend pattern that it has. It came up and tried to jump over it, but it instantly got sold under it again. So I this is something that I personally am just gonna keep an eye on, but nothing really about it is standing out to me. I wouldn't really, I personally wouldn't touch this until we can break over this downtrend. Yeah, I think yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you as well. I love Fubo. I think that they have an insane amount of potential. They have really good potential. Let's see. Apple. Apple was another one of those stocks that we did at the beginning of the week. Um, we filled that wick to the downside. Apple is just it's so slow. Its market cap is so large that, yeah, no, Fubo is definitely gonna be a monster. It's one of those plays that is one of those things that people aren't going to really talk about it until it actually starts going crazy. But like Manny said, it has so much potential. Fubo has a lot of potential. They just need to fix their earnings. They need to. I think that was the one thing that really killed them. But then they came out with good news after that. But people were more focused on the outlook, which I can understand from an investor's perspective. I think once they flip those earnings, though, it will go crazy. Um, Apple though, I personally see we Apple couldn't hold above 120 today at close. It jumped over 120 after hours. The thing with Apple though is Apple's the number one holding in SPY, the Qs. It's it if you're bearish on Apple, then there's a high likelihood that the market itself is also going to be somewhat bearish, if that makes sense. It's not always necessarily that case, but Apple's a good indicator of what market direction, like the direction of the market. And right now, although SPY looks pretty good, we do have that rising wedge, and Apple failed to hold 120, which is sort of giving me a little bit of an indication that we might just pull back just a little bit before we really try to make that big push. Um, PLTR. Yep, no, of course I'll get PLTR as well. I like PLTR. I already have a chart for PLTR, so I'll definitely walk you guys through that one. And I really like the chart I have on it. But Apple did come down and test 116 and bounced hard. I think Apple's gonna do, I think Apple will probably drop to the bottom of 119 and bounce from there. I don't. We had a head and shoulders on Apple, which I'll draw it out real quick. This is on the 4 hour as well. So we had a head and shoulders on Apple, but that played out. Right now, the main thing for Apple to do is kind of to base off, but it looks like we've done a decent job consolidating right here. Volume isn't really where I want it to be. MACD's crossing up. RSI's cooled off. So, it does have some room to move, but just with that market cap being so large, it takes a lot to move Apple. Yeah, Apple's never been the same since. Excuse me, Apple hasn't been the same since they split. Gary, I really like CGC. I like MJ as well. If you want to do an ETF, that's a if you want to look into an ETF, I'm sorry. That's I liked MJ. Kind of I looked into them and they seem pretty decent. I know YOLO's another ETF. There's Tilray, Sundial, CGC, AQB or ACB. But personally, I like CGC, but that's just because I've been trading CGC for a while, so I know somewhat of the way it's gonna move. But yeah, Apple just needs to really consolidate right here. It still looks good though. It still could push. I think Apple still has room to push. We kind of are creating ourselves this sort of trend line shaping up to get into sort of a V-shaped thing to push ourselves over to 124. So Apple, I wouldn't count it out. We did touch down here as well, this level, and we did bounce. So Apple does look decent. It's not the best, but it does look decent. It had a nice consolidation as well under that 120 level. Let's see, what was next? So Apple, my Apple prediction is possibly a drop to 119, but then a bounce, and we should reclaim 120 by the end of the week. I would say maybe we'll level off around 122 end of week. If we get super bullish, we can probably see ourselves at 124. So we looked at Fubo as well. We'll look at BA real quick. BA was a monster today. Yeah, look at BA go. BA just went insane. Um, I still can't believe that sell-off BA had back in last March. But yeah, BA broke over a long-term resistance it had today, which is really good. It it should. So the thing I like about BA breaking over this resistance is not only did it break the See, it's in, look at this massive cup it's in. So it could make a cup and handle pattern. I know BA, usually when BA goes on big runs like this, it does tend to retrace and then go back on another run. So I wouldn't be surprised if BA forms sort of a cup pattern, but it came to this resistance, broke through this resistance, rejected, came back down, retested it, and bounced. So I'm drawing it out as a resistance right now just to sort of make a visual, but I would give this level sort of a support right here. Um, we're just barely entering overbought territory. Um, MACD still pointing up on the 1 hour. The 4 hour looks very strong. It actually has a gap right here, and I'm happy we went to the 4 hour because I would not have noticed this. So it does, BA still has room to move. BA could see itself another $2 higher to around 249 just to complete this gap, and then it might drop back just a little bit. Um, but other than that, like the long-term outlook on BA is it has a lot of room to get back to 300 just from that massive sell-off. So where it's at right now, if it can kind of hang out around this 250 to like 235 level, BA looks really good. Yeah, I think BA will go to fill the gap and then retrace back a little bit to form sort of a handle style pattern to get that cup right there and then make that handle and then just explode. But we are noticing something a little bit similar right here as to where it just completely exploded upwards and didn't even, I mean, I guess, no, because I was going to say, I mean, you could probably, mm, as I say, you can maybe like look at that as sort of a, no, I think that would be stretching it a little bit too much. How much did it retrace? Retrace. Oh, not what we wanted. Price range. 21%. Yeah, too much for a handle. Yeah, no, it might drop back just a little bit to consolidate right here around 237, but I think I'll fill the gap first. So PLTR still looks good. It did have an interesting day today. It did reject the that 2573 level, but overall it still looks decently bullish. It has a doji candle as well, which can be a good sign. Let's see how was volume today. Volume was slightly increased, nothing crazy though. Yeah, I would say volume was a little bit over its average volume, so volume looks decent. MACD's curling to cross though, so that's something to keep in mind. RSI hasn't moved just yet. I know PLTR has a demo day coming up, which there was tons of manipulation right before that demo day last time, so I'm expecting something similar. Um, but overall though, I wouldn't worry too much. I think PLTR is more of a long-term type of thing, in my opinion. I would play PLTR a little bit more long-term, but it's still holding sort of this trend line it's made itself. I think PLTR still looks decent. CGC. Yeah, CGC. I like CGC. CGC has tons of upside potential. Sort of in this downtrend still though, which is unfortunate. Um, uh, well, it had this downtrend, and then it went into this downtrend. But if we look, I'm gonna have to go to a higher time frame to accurately get this drawn out. I mean, did it break it? It looks as if it like broke over this downtrend and is just retesting right now. That's kind of what I'm seeing is like a downtrend break and then a retest. What happens if we turn on the so yeah, it failed getting over that 100 EMA. It bounced off the 200 EMA though. which is bullish. CGC though has tons of upside potential from this 200 EMA, which is about 30 bucks, as long as it doesn't break that level. If it breaks that level, we're looking at about like 27, and then from 27 to about 24 bucks. And the volume on it isn't very good as well, which is most likely what is holding it back. Lemonade, let's see. Drew out Lemonade a while ago. Oh yeah, Lemonade, I was about to hit those PTs we had a while ago. Invalid under 138. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like how it has a death cross right here, which is um well, it's about to make a death cross, which would be the 50, so 50 is going to be the orange line crossing the blue line, which there's no sign of it curling yet, so I I myself would personally stay away from this. You can even see sort of a bear flag forming on it as well, with this right here being the flagpole. I don't know. I would stay away from Lemonade right now personally. Yeah, I don't have the demo day date, but yeah, they should be having another demo day. Let me see real quick if I can find when PLTR's demo date. I think it's April 14th, if I'm not mistaken. Series double click demo events on Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. A death cross is when the 50 exponential moving average crosses the 100 exponential moving average. Um, let's see if I can think of an example when there was one. QS, yeah, I can't think of like, I mean, potentially Spies. I know Spies had one before. Let's see if we can find one real quick. Okay, so if you notice, so a death cross is going to be right here, which is when the orange line crossed the blue line. So the orange line represents my 50 exponential moving average, and the blue line represents my 200 moving average. So a death cross, those crossed right there, which indicates price is going to go down, and then look at how much it sold from there. Granted, this was last March when, you know, everything was selling hard, but it kind of just helps bring out that idea of things can sell really hard after there's a death cross. Over the 200 EMA. So 50 over the 200. 50 EMA over the two crossing over the 200 EMA. Because typically it will look like this, where the 200 EMA is on the bottom, and then you'll have the 100 or the 100 above it, the 50, and then the 20. Why does it say QS is QuantumScape? There we go. I was like, where is this? Let's see. So the thing I like on QuantumScape right now is how the 20 EMA is starting to slowly cross back above the 50 and the 100 and the 200 EMA. That does look pretty decent. Um, we did have a good consolidation phase today. That may be a head and shoulders pattern though on the lower time frame, which it is sort of looking like a head and shoulders pattern on the lower time frame, but it did hold this EMA. Um, this is something interesting, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good. It looks good how the EMAs are crossing, but the price action pattern itself without the EMAs, we're looking at a head and shoulders. Yeah, it does have, I mean, it has tons of room for long potential with a massive gap right here, a massive gap to 83. So it actually, this is what it might be doing. So it did have this downtrend right here. It broke the downtrend. What it might do is it might come test this downtrend. I don't think it tested breaking the downtrend. Um, yeah, it never tested this downtrend. So it might come test the downtrend before we see any real continuation on it. But it does have this massive gap right here, which is really nice. And it did consolidate for majority of the day. So it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look super good, but it doesn't look terrible. It might test that downtrend before it really makes any big moves. When I am when I'm day trading, I look at the I look at the 8 and the 20 EMA as well. Um, for my trading view though, I have the 20, 50, 100 and 200 on. But my trading view is typically on higher time frames. My day trading is typically on 15-minute candles. Yeah, no problem. I think I personally think QS looks decent long term. It just needs to come test that downtrend it had, or it can just consolidate and gain some volume. But overall, it has room. It filled that gap. It filled that gap that it had, which is good. If someone's looking at like a price target, I would just say, oops. I mean, if I was long on it, I would maybe come test these right here, this 70 level, and then if it breaks that, go to like this 83, 84 level potential. Another stock I really like is JPM. So JPM had an ascending triangle. Ascending triangle. It broke out today, and see on the 4-hour time frame. Hold up. Let me edit my line. On the 4-hour time frame, see this line isn't very straight. It broke above and it held above its breakout, which is good. Also, the MACD hasn't crossed to the upside yet, so it has room to push. Actually, MACD's barely crossing right now, so it has room on that as well. The 1-hour MACD bounced off of itself and it crossed today as well, and it came down. So if we take this level and move it up a little bit, it came down and tested that breakout and bounced, and it's sitting right above that breakout right now. It's barely hanging on to it. Yeah, this is Jpmorgan. Let's see, what is it at after hours? So it's only up 17 cents after hours. It was a lot higher. I wonder what happened. It was at 15, or is that, it was like about 60 cents up after hours, but that's not too bad. Yeah, my PT on JPM is $59. And the reason I have that PT is if you take the swing high and the swing low, that puts us right at about 60 bucks. If you move it down a little bit, it's like a 50 buck region. On the 4 hour, it's about 60 bucks. Or on the 1 hour, it's about 160. On this level, it's about 159, higher time frame. But if I went from the wick, yeah, about 160. But JPM's, I fear that that banks will only keep pushing if there's a rotation out of tech. So tech needs to stay weak for the banks to keep seeing some of this rotation. Yes, I'm still doing the challenge account. I haven't really done anything for the challenge account recently just because the market's been so up and down. GameStop. Let's take a look. I don't really like the meme stocks, but I mean, I don't know what this candle is. Like, what is this? A high of 374 with a low of 174? I don't know. GameStop is just, I mean, it has the volume. It's just a meme stock. It's hard to predict. It's hard to predict you know, what it's going to do. Yeah, there's not really any like, I mean, you can somewhat use TA on it, I guess, but it's just meme. It runs off of its volume and you know, it's meme appeal. Yeah, the new VIX. It's funny because when GameStop pushes, SPY drops. So, and I think I forget who it was today. I think it was like FX Hedge something on Twitter, which is a good news thing. Yeah, don't chart it low. Gotta look at the minutes. Yeah, yeah. You just gotta look at the momentum on it. It's more of a momentum type of play. Um, but there was some news outlet thing today that sent out a tweet that was like GameStop could be like the crash of the economy. 500 put on GameStop. The what is it? Not the IVs. Why can't I think? Yeah, I think it. Yeah, the IVs on GameStop's contracts and the premiums are crazy. I don't really. There's not really anything super crazy right now in the market. I mean, tech still looks weak, which for the JPM play is good. For everything else, though, majority of people play tech, so we still are hanging on to that support though, which is good. Baba, when the checks get hit, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see 5. Yeah, I think people will put their checks into it as well. Their stimmies. Baba. Baba has a big old gap sitting under it from when that news about China buying their stocks again. Baba got a big old gap. I mean, it's hanging on. It's made itself a little bit of a support right here, but Baba does look kind of ugly, if I'm being completely honest. No TA means nada. Yeah, Baba sold pretty hard. I mean, it has good upside potential. I just don't like the gap sitting under it. It has so many gaps above it, though. Like, there's just gaps everywhere. I mean, they eventually get filled, like gap filled, pushed. So, unfortunately, we might see this gap to like 227 get filled and then it'll push. Ugly like Jack Ma. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of AMD either. I don't I've AMD's always kind of screwed me over. I mean, it gap filled above itself from the cup and handle it was making, but yeah, look how it just sold. Everything tech though looks weak. Neo, yeah, Neo bounced off that support we charted for it. Um, Kind of consolidating right now around that resistance line. I think I have Neo coming back up to like the 50, 54-ish range and then completing that right shoulder for this massive head and shoulder pattern it's making itself. Yeah, Visa looks nice as well. Yep, Visa looks real nice. Look at that, came up, retested, and bounced hard. That's exactly what we want to see off JPM. Up, retest, bounce. So we'd be looking for it to clear that 226 level. Tesla. See, I had a bearish count on Tesla still. It does look like it's flagging right now though. Tesla does look like it's kind of flagging on the 1 hour. And it's holding above a support. But I don't know. I think I'm kind of bearish on Tesla still. I don't, did it break its downtrend? I think it did break the downtrend if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. It broke the downtrend. But yeah, we'll just have to see with Tesla. It is flagging right now. It does have room to go to like 718, which I know it opened at today. So it just needs to reclaim that 700 level. Snap, yeah, I've never been a fan of Snapchat either. I think it's I think it's incredibly overvalued. But yeah, Snap doesn't look good either. Snap looks like it wants to come fill this gap sitting under itself. Anything tech related looks really weak right now, which is not a good sign. So we'll have to see how the stimulus affects tech. We're definitely in a day trading market though. Quick scalps, in and outs. Holding anything super long is getting risky just because of the up and downs, the areas that we're at right now in the market are pretty volatile. But I might call it a stream. I want to go live for some day trading eventually. I just don't like where the market's at right now. Yeah, exactly, kangaroo market. I've kind of just I don't know. There's some intraday setups, but I kind of just sit around and I don't know. I haven't really been playing anything much. But yeah, I definitely want to live stream some market, some live charts, some option chains, some kind of what I look for, how I find plays, the plays that I take, and all of that. But yeah, I think I'll call it a night right now. I'll try to get some charts, some other charts. I'll kind of sift through some tickers, see what a lot of people are talking about right now. I'll try to get some charts posted on my Twitter tonight. If you guys don't already follow that, it's NovaTrades. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to just DM me on Discord and I can help you out with some charts or whatever it may be. But yeah, thank you guys. Have a good rest of your night.